Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 8, called Divorce, Prayers, and Spider Scares. Before I get started with this review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. Okay, so let's get started with Episode 8. They all return home from their honeymoons, going into their shared apartments, and the experts come and visit. So that happened for each couple this episode. So let's start off with Becca and Austin. And I really don't have much to say about them. What we learned is they went into each other's home to see how each other was living. Nothing really to say there. Um, we learned that they did not consummate their marriage. I'm kind of surprised, maybe a little bit. They're both, touchy-feely, and they seem to like each other in that way. But it's really Austin who's holding back. In this season, more guys are holding back than the girls. So Austin is holding back. He wants to build a foundation. And I wonder if Austin is into Becca as she thinks he is. There's just moments here and there. He just seems a little quiet, a little, maybe not all the way in, but he's very caring. I like that about him. She was talking to Pastor Cal about something, and she was crying a little bit, and he was touching her, grabbing her, holding her. He's very empathetic, and maybe he's not telling us how he really feels about her because he's worried about her feelings. I just wonder. We'll have to wait and see. But not much else to say about Becca and Austin. So let's just move on into Claire and Cameron. And they go into each other's shared, well, actually, they go into each other's home, their personal home. And weird thing about Cameron, he has a whole bunch of spider traps. I didn't even know there were spider traps, and he's caught them. I don't know what's going on there. And it looks like I don't know if he said anything, but it looks like he lives in a basement apartment. You have to go down the stairs, and then like it's like a studio apartment or something, or it just looks like maybe a basement apartment. I think that's what it looks like. What else happened with him? I can say this about Cameron. He seems to be really interested in Claire. Cameron seems more interested in his wife than the other husbands do with their wives. And then Claire seems she seems like she's a little off from him. She's off-putting. Even when she holds his hand, it's like she was doing an exercise with Dr. Pepper, who came, who looked bubbly and skinnier, and she looked happy. But she, was trying to get Claire to touch Cameron more. And so she grabbed his arm or his leg, but then it seems like she was so far apart from him. It was like a stretch to do that. So that tells you that her body, her chemistry, what she feels inside, she doesn't feel the need to move closer to him. Even in this act, it just seemed an act to be closer showed how distant she really is from him. I think she needs to warm up. He's a bright guy. One thing was interesting. He had this, oh my God. Is it Vegemite, I think? Never heard of this. It seemed very disgusting. Claire tried it, and she didn't like it. I don't blame her for that. No. One thing I did notice, she was always criticizing him. She criticized his shorts, his apartment with the spiders, though I do understand that. She just seems, when you're criticizing somebody so much, it's another way to show that you're not really interested in a romantic way. It, I think you would have more nicer things to say and be more receptive to him, his belongings, his lifestyle, something. But I always see her having a little jab here and there. The little punches is like, that's not trying to make a connection with somebody. That's standing your distance and fighting back. Claire's interesting that way because she is a therapist and she just doesn't act like one. One thing they talked about is when there's an issue, Claire, the therapist, wants him to speak up right away. And the way he wants to process things is that he wants, if something's getting on his nerves, he wants to see how long he can take it, or he wants to see how bad it would get if it really gets on his, he wants to wait it out. And she wants to be told right away. I think they have to just find a compromise, a middle ground. Sometimes people, somebody says something or does something and you don't know if that's just a one-off and you just want to wait and see. And if they continue whatever it is and it still bothers you, then maybe you could say something kindly. But she wants to know right away. Maybe she needs to sit back and just let people be themselves and operate a certain way. And if something happens more than once, maybe 2 or 3 times, then maybe you can step up and say something. But I don't know. They're going to have to find a middle ground with that one. That's something that I think they can work out. But not much else to say about those two. Okay, so on to the next. Okay, the next couple will be Orion and Lauren. So what goes up must come down. And in this relationship, it came down like a safe. Before they left Cancun, Lauren took off her wedding ring. I mean, it seemed like it was doomed at that point. But he still wore his wedding ring. He's trying to save face, But they get back on the plane to go home, back to Denver, and he tells her that he wants a reset. He has a change of heart. He wants to continue on. So, she's like, okay, good. She wants to do that. That's what she wants also. But then they get to their shared apartment. They walk in together, I guess, to explore it. But he decides that he is going to back to his house. So I guess she's going to go back to hers. And when he leaves, there was no hug, no kiss, it's pretty much later. See you later. And he leaves. So that's not looking good. And while he's away from her, after a couple days go by, he sends her a text. And in the text, he says he doesn't want to continue with the marriage, but he wants to continue with the experiment, with the process. What? You just want to be on TV. What did you think she was going to say to that? I mean, maybe she wanted to also act like things were going well and make herself look good and act like everything's great until the end. Is that what you were kind of trying to ask her to do? And they had a meeting with Dr. Pia, and he finally opened up to her and spoke his truth a little bit and said that he was heartbroken. And he, didn't really want to continue with the marriage anymore. Dr. Pia wanted him to extend grace to Lauren and get a fresh start and let go of the past. And then Lauren stepped in and asked him, do you want to be with me? Just tell me. It won't hurt my feelings. And it did. He turned around and he pretty much said how he felt, that he wanted the divorce. And he had no more romantic feelings for her. It's a turn off the way they had experienced each other in Cancun. Things were said and he can't get past it. So you got to be careful what you ask for, because It always hurts your feelings when someone doesn't like you. People always say that, and then next thing you look, they got that pout face on because they're hurt. So, what we learned here is the takeaway. It's just a real sensitive misunderstanding. I don't know if he used this for an out to get away from her, if he's really hurt, he didn't see a future with her. What was it really? And she was hurt. You could see how hurt she was. You know, those comments. I honestly believe that the comments about the redskin wasn't her fault. That was just, he didn't see it for what it really was. Or maybe he wanted to put more into it to get an out. I don't know. I don't know. But apparently you got to watch what you say to a person, especially if you don't know them that well or if you don't know them at all, because you don't know how they'll take it. So I guess that's the end of those two. Okay, on to the last couple. The last couple is Emily and Brennan. So they get back to Denver to their shared apartment, and Brennan decides that he's going to go home. He seems really mopey and doesn't seem like he wants to be there. And so he goes on home, and they're separated for a while. And Emily knows something is off. She's not sure what it is, but she can sense it. She can feel it. For goodness, it's obvious. She goes to his home to see where he lives, and he was just showing her around. Not really. I mean, really low energy. Just, he acted like he didn't want her to be there, leaning against things and hands folded. He just didn't want, he seemed like he didn't want to be a part of this process anymore. Even if you don't like her, someone comes to your house, you can, actively, maybe proudly show it off or, say something interesting. Emily is a good sport. Through it all, she tried to make the best of it, tried to engage in conversation. She really gave it some effort. In a confessional, he said that he's drained. Did she drain your energy? Is she too much? What is going on with Brennan? Pastor Cal came over to visit, and he asked the couple if they feel invested. Emily says, I do. Dr. Pepper said, you said that musically. And you could tell Brennan is just, he's not sitting close to her. He's just not in it. He's not feeling it. There's no connection. He says he's not feeling a connection. And you can see it. Now, the sad part is, this is Emily's first relationship. And wow, what an experience she's having. And she hasn't really knocked her down, because she's still giving it her all. She's still in it. She's a good sport in it all. And how we saw her partying before, I just thought she was really immature, but she's in this relationship trying to see what she can make of it and see if they can have a life together. She's really trying. Now, I don't know what it is about her. They asked if there was something that physically that he wasn't attracted to, and I think it's a yes, but we don't know what it is, because I think he's very aware of the cameras and he doesn't want to hurt her. So by saying that, we can just, it's a good understanding that he's not physically attracted to her, or there's something about her. He's not attracted to her, so there's not an attraction. So why is it? Is it physical? Is it the drinking? Because it was excessive drinking. And every time we saw her, she had a drink in her hand. She was a good time, at the wedding and at the honeymoon. Or was it the weave? Was that an issue? What is going on? I cannot wait till Brennan opens up, because I don't know if is it her looks? I don't know. I just, Maybe it's the drinking. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm so curious. I can't wait. But he says he's willing to try to work, in the process to see where this goes. But how is he going to try? How? The effort, he doesn't have any energy. So what is he going to do when he says he's going to try? Okay, so that's it. I think that's all the couples. Okay, that was quick. All right, well, thanks for staying with me to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much. But I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.